Such an honor to have met you.
Hold up, I got one more thing to say.
What? He has one more thing to say. I won't interrupt you.
If you're a Democrat and you're being mean to President Trump, I'm on your bumper.
You couldn't pay me to be a liberal again. You couldn't do it. After watching that speech, I am convinced that Democrats hate America. The way that they didn't stand for Laken Riley's mother, the way that they didn't stand for that little boy who has brain cancer, the way that they didn't stand for that young man who got accepted into West Point. Are you with me on this? The way that they hate America. My God.
The Democratic Party itself is frankly an irrelevant political party. They don't have a message. Their policy positions have left cities across this country in shambles. I mean, even last night, let's just think about this for a minute. The president highlighted DJ, the young kid who's dealing with cancer survivor. They didn't even have enough decency to stand and applaud. He highlighted the mother whose daughter was killed by an illegal immigrant. They didn't stand and applaud. He talked about law enforcement, not the bad guys, but the ones who are doing good work every day across this country, keeping our cities safe. They didn't stand and applaud. It appears to me that the Democratic Party, in my personal opinion, is a party that is in chaos right now.
You think
they have no idea which direction
Sir Michael,
to
with
go.
all due respect, I cannot tell you how refreshing it was to wake up this morning and hear from other Democrats and see on my post other Democrats who are just as furious and ready to friggin' jump ship as I am. I am not buying into what they're selling, because after what we saw yesterday, I'm actually glad that they pulled that yesterday, because people like me who have been disillusioned by the Democratic Party for a long time got to see an evilness there, got to see a diabolical side of the Democratic Party who's basically saying, we want you to fail. We don't care if you fail. It's like the scene in The Wizard of Oz when they finally go back to see the great Oz and they pull the curtain back and it's just a little old man just standing there like that doesn't have a fucking clue. I'm not going to be afraid to voice my opinion anymore. I'm done. I am done. I am done. And you're not going to bully me off my own page by thinking logical thoughts. I'm not going to be gaslit by my own party. Not one day more. Not one day more.
You Democrats ought to be ashamed of yourself. Now, I generally stay away from politics, but the conduct that I saw last night from the Democratic side of the House of Representatives was reprehensible. Little boy who survived brain cancer, and he gets honored. And what do? Y'all sit with your hands under your legs to keep from clapping. It doesn't matter what side of the fucking aisle you sit on. When a little boy or a child or anybody gets honored like that, you give them the accolades they deserve. You ought to be ashamed. I'm ashamed that I was ever a part of the damn Democratic Party. I used to be. A long time ago, I was a registered Democrat. What y'all did last night just made my stomach churn. Regardless, I love all of you. I truly do. Some of you need to straighten the hell up.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey. Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. And you try to we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Ooh, look at that on the screen. Get that off the screen. Can y'all please get this off the screen? Oh, Terminator. Gotta get you a bag. I might throw up right now. I might vomit right now. Ugh. Look at Whoopi. Look at get your bag. Get your bag. Democrats keep shooting themselves in the foot. We still waiting for this show to be canceled, removed, off air. I don't know how it's still on TV. But we got to get into this, family. You know, we got to get into this because we just keep winning. You know, whether they like it or not, we just keep winning. And they expose the corruption. They put it in a spotlight that needs to be put in. And I love it. And I'm here for it. The spew, not the view. The spew. Ugh. Make sure y'all come in here with your bag. I know some of y'all, I look at them Patriots. They came in here with their bag. They knew what we was getting into. Some people know, but just in case you're new here, we always have them bags in handy. The economy is not fixed yet. Prices are still too high. Them cleaning supplies is high. Now, over here where I'm at, I'm out the country right now. It's dirt cheap, I'm telling you. It is dirt cheap. Over here, ooh, you can get everything for about $10, $20. You get your hamburger for $1, $2. I'm telling you. Over there in America, you can 20, 30, 40, 75, $100 plus tax. Plus tax. I mean, people are just getting ripped out their shoes, man. You know, Americans just getting ripped out their shoes and spit on. I tell you. You know, what a disgrace it's been. But let's get into this, family. You know, Democrats can't clap for nothing. Not even a 13-year-old boy who has cancer. Cancer survivor. Dreams come true. Thanks to the Trump administration, Trump, Republicans, you know, MAGA. But they wipe us through the mud. Can't clap for anything. Can't put politics aside. You know, just put your if you don't agree with MAGA, Trump, if you hate us, whatever it is, but can we just put politics aside to celebrate the kid, man? The kid has had 13 brain surgeries. What if that was your child? That's how I look at it, man. And shout out to all the parents out there. We can't put politics aside, man. That's where we draw the line when it comes to kids, man. In life or death situations that little man has been through. Put politics to, not everything needs to be about politics. People are so selfish, man. Same with these women on the spew. And that's why, you know, their hatred, how selfish they are. I wish they ought to just shut this whole thing down. But enough of me yapping, japping, and rapping. Let's get into this. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. But look at Whoopi. Oh, boy.
The divide in D.C. was on full display at last night's joint address to Congress. Republicans cheered on last night's.
Hope they're ready to read out another legal note. This is just lawsuits everywhere. I tell you. I tell you, man. I got to change all this up. This right here. Maybe I can make it go by a little bit faster.
Speech while Democrats found different ways to voice their dissent. Take a look.
We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
The chair now directs the sergeant at arms to restore order.
Pick him out. They got him out of there.
Move this gentleman from the chamber.
We inherited from the last administration an economic catastrophe.
With that pimp cane. With that old pimp cane. Get that fella out of there. Texas ought to be ashamed of itself.
And an inflation nightmare. Joe Biden especially let the price of eggs get out of control. As the tariffs will go on agricultural product coming into America and our farmers starting on April 2nd. It may be a little bit of an adjustment period. There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that. It won't be much, and we quickly achieved the lowest numbers of illegal border crossers ever recorded. It turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Oh, God. Okay. That's a lot to unpack. So if you watched, what were your takeaways?
Just that last part about they inherited the worst economy. When Biden was in, we had the envy of the world. We had the world admired our economy. What is it? The lying. That was the biggest lie I think that he saw. The whole thing was filled with lies. I watched the whole thing.
The whole thing was filled with lies.
Stand-up comic. He was doing a bad set, you know, and lie after lie. But the worst one was that because he inherited the lowest unemployment since Nixon. He inherited a roaring stock market, which we saw took a tumble the other day, an inflation rate that Biden brought down from over 9% to 2.7%. And we were the economy envy of the world. Now we're just the enemy of the world. You know, everybody's mad at us. Canada's mad at us, and Panama's
mad at him.
Well,
Canada's, because I believe the rest of the world understands that Americans are questioning a lot of what's going on.
I
as
hope
well.
they know that.
Yeah, they know that this is not a done deal because they're seeing that federal real people workers are being fired, all kinds of folks, and so they're seeing that how it's affecting. So I will say that from the folks that I've spoken to,
take a wrecking ball to it.
A couple of little places where I speak to people, they're saying, what are y'all going to do? So, well, we'll see, but I just wanted to do that.
I believe that. I believe in Canadians.
Well, I believe in Canadians. I do too. It was longer than Adrian Brody's Best Actor speech. This ran 100 minutes long, and I watched every minute. Here's what I will say. Donald Trump
was not a miniseries.
It was very long. Donald Trump is not trying to bring in new voters because he doesn't need to. So this was a lot of red meat for his supporters. Though I thought I've got to give him credit. He knows how to make compelling TV. Knowing that most people like me weren't going to watch all 100 minutes, but they were going to watch things that would live on social media. There was a powerful moment. He acknowledged Mark Fogel, this American who'd been held hostage in Russia that he got home. This young boy, 13 years old, battling cancer. He made an honorary member of the Secret Service. DJ Daniel. It was a sweet moment.
Isn't he defunding cancer research?
Two mothers who lost their daughters. And then at the end, he did acknowledge that we captured an ISIS terrorist. These are all things that true Republicans are huge wins that they're excited about. But what stood out to me was the comment around tariffs, because the markets were in free fall yesterday, and he did acknowledge there's going to be a disturbance, and there was not a lot around the cost of living.
Why did he do that, do you think?
I think he's saying, bear with me. I have done all these things that you
bear
wanted.
With me or don't blame me.
He thinks that tariffs work. I don't agree with him. He is convinced that it's going to bring more American jobs here.
Well, so what you were saying about he wasn't vying for other voters. What's always bothered me about when Donald Trump speaks is he speaks for people who voted for him. And one thing of the old politicians of days gone by was they always reminded people, I'm a president for everyone, whether you voted for me or not. He did not mess around with insulting Democrats the entire time, like mocking them. He also brought up President Biden a lot more than I would have expected. Like, you won, move on, like, let's go. But I did want to mention those moments, although produced in those speeches, I was moved by the featured stories of the families. I think that I know everyone does them. I know there's always a lot of hands behind, but anytime someone, a victim, the families gets recognized, my heart goes out to them.
Yeah, but just to do his policies match.
I'm just speaking to those moments, honestly.
Well,
but specifically on the mothers who lost children because of undocumented migrants, that is something that resonates so strongly with a lot of Americans. And that you could not watch that moment, like in Riley's family, and not feel for her.
But
that was
the most insidious.
Here it comes. Here it goes. Here it comes. And I to that point that she said about, move on. I can somewhat feel for that, because again, I'm tired of hearing about Biden too. But I know we have to mention it because it's been a disgraceful 4 years, and the way they weaponized it, came after the political opponent, ran the country into the ground, lied to everybody. We all feel Trump's anger and why he continues to bring it up. Boy.
Part of the entire night for me is the class war he is gauging right now. So he is bait and switching the working class constantly. And a lot of people who didn't vote for him have always seen that. But what bothers me is he's willing to say, he talked about the tariffs, he talked about a period of discomfort, but you know who he didn't tell it might be uncomfortable for? Elon Musk or the other 814 billionaires that live in this country who don't pay their taxes. All I'm wanting, the only...
Elon didn't pay his taxes. He just came out and said he thought he was going. They would give him an award for so much taxes he paid. What again? It's the spew, Musk derangement syndrome, Trump derangement syndrome. What else do we expect? What else do we expect?
The only thing I want to hear is compromise. Take what rate you have in mind and even put it in half. Just tell Elon Musk and everyone else that's here and ready to gut major federal agencies that probably have some fat. That's fine. Why won't it hurt them for just a minute?
Yeah, she just said the quiet part out loud.
Why they flock to this country? Because it benefits them financially. That's why they're all here. So all I wanted to hear was if the working class who is suffering the most is going to get hit with more, why don't we just let Elon Musk do one great thing for this nation and let him and his buddies pay just slightly closer to a fair amount of taxes? That's all I want to hear.
Go ahead.
I know how much this president loves his ratings, so I did not turn the TV on. I turned the TV off.
Yeah, here she goes. I don't even know why we even. We know it's gonna get terrible when she opens up her mouth, and let's just see if she finds a way to mention the race card. The race card has to be mentioned. I just feel it coming, and I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing she's gonna say something that makes everybody mad.
And what I did was I watched the State of the People Summit, which was counter-programming. At last count, when I tuned off at about 11:30 p.m., there were about 200,000 viewers. It was a 24-hour program. It included hours dedicated to the actual issues that our country is facing. For example, there was an economic hour, there was a legal hour, there was a faith-based hour. Minority leader Hakeem Jeffries showed up for that. Jasmine Crockett was there, other civil rights leaders. So unlike Trump's campaign speech, which is, I think...
Yeah. Jasmine Crockett. Hakeem Jeffries. Other civil rights. Yeah. somebody that's black. It's always about who's black with Sunny Hostin. Who's black? You know? Where's all the black people at?
I think what we really saw, this was actually informative programming. And so that's what I watched, but I can speak in the next segment as to some of the clips that I saw.
Right.